You know, Senator Muma, as part of the leadership of this House, I think I needed to remind you that this House has already written to the COG on how this matter can be resolved. Speaker, if you remember, before we went to Nakuru, the Speaker of this House issued a communication and said, yes, we can have conversations, but we cannot suspend constitutional imperatives. You continue appearing before the committee, and once that is done, in fact, a date was set. But I am telling you, Speaker, as I was saying earlier, this entire problem is a pointer to the total collapse of leadership at the COG. It is the chairperson of the COG who, would you believe it, Speaker, a member of the council, like a governor, would appear in parliament buildings, there where we hold our meetings, ready to appear before the Public Accounts Committee. And she is being called and threatened by the chair of the COG to leave the premises of parliament. I want to tell the country, the problem is the chair of the COG, Governor Jir. And I am ashamed because he's a member of ODM. As his SG, I am very ashamed of the governor of Wajir. Speaker, I want to assure Governor Senator Khalwale that I personally don't mind being criticized for the work that I do. My late boss, the Honorable Raila Odinga, there was one thing he kept telling me, is that Sifuna, you must grow a thick skin. He was one of the most insulted person. Out of the 7 newspapers that are printed in a week, 4 would have his name on the headline. Some abusing him, some praising him. So it comes with the territory. I don't have any issue being criticized. And you can also not threaten Sifuna. I have heard the governor of Samburu saying he's ready to face me. I am still a member of the County Public Accounts Committee. The duel that people want to see is not a physical duel. It is for you to come before the Public Accounts Committee and answer the questions that we as the Senate are going to ask you to answer. Mr. Speaker, we have just of late, this is a very recent development that the Senate has suddenly become a bad place. When we came to this House, in fact, it is this 4th Senate, Honorable Speaker, that for the first time pushed the amount of money that goes to counties under the shareable revenue across the 400 billion threshold. It had never been done. It is us. Mr. Speaker, when these governors want things, they look for us to be able to push for them. I was again embarrassed to see the COG sitting in this chamber before our finance committee chaired by Senator Roba, coming to tell us to help them to push what the national government has proposed in this financial year from 420 to 450. In fact, Speaker, if you have noticed, these days I don't even talk about that 450 billion that I used to sing every day in that expired MOU. Because I'm asking myself, 450 billion to go to Governor Jir, 450 billion to go to Governor Jir, and these are the governors who are buying supplements for wild animals. I am conflicted because I swore an oath to defend counties and their governments, but not these ones. Not these ones, Honorable Speaker. When they had a problem with RMLF and the National Assembly was refusing to release money for roads, they came to Sifuna. They came to this House. They came to the Senate. We were fighting for them. In fact, it is them who ran away. In fact, these governors, I am telling you, Speaker, there is a total collapse of leadership of the COG. They will come here when they have problems. We agree that because we are the devolution family, we will fight this fight together. When they are called somewhere behind the tent there, you hear, oh, they have reached an agreement with the National Assembly or with the state. They abandon the fight, Mr. Speaker. And then they leave the senators hanging there. Speaker, it is this House, it is the Committee of the Public Accounts Committee that wrote off 16 billion Kenya shillings in pending bills from Nairobi County books. We sat down with the then Minister for Treasury at the onset of this House and the Comptroller of State House, and we told them in no uncertain terms that the bills that were incurred by NMS were not going to be paid by the county government of Nairobi. That was the Senate. That was Sifuna. That was the County Public Accounts Committee, Honorable Speaker. They came to us crying that because of late exchequer releases, when they delay in paying VAT and not VAT, payee remittances to KRA, there are penalties that are imposed on that late remittance. It was this committee called County Public Accounts Committee. It was Sifuna It was this Senate that sat down with the Ministry of Finance or the Treasury, and we agreed that because the problem is not originating from the county side, that because late exchequer releases are a reality, you cannot delay giving us money, then when I delay remitting payee for my employees, you add a penalty on top. It was this house that they are now demonizing. Honorable Speaker, it is this house that they are demonizing that ensured that we passed a law here for financial autonomy for the assemblies, because the governors were running circles around the assemblies with the famous Form C, Honorable Speaker. So we have done a lot of things. Speaker, there was the other one of, I think it was for shareable revenue. I've addressed that. There was a question of late exchequer releases. Speaker, whenever there is a delay, you will hear the national government saying, we are up to date. And yet the governors come to our committee and tell us, no, we are behind 3 months. This is the question. How is it possible that they only come to us when they want things? That we are only good people when we are pursuing what they consider their interests. But now, because we want to ask for accountability for the same amount that we fight for, they are demonizing us. Speaker, we were convinced this last financial year by the so-called small counties. Yeah. I remember the small counties like Lamu and the others, and Viga, and they came together and told us that we need to introduce in the new formula an affirmative action amount. The only governor from those 13 counties who has appeared before us and actually has said thank you for the fight for devolution is the governor for Nyandarua. He is the only one. He is the only one. These other ones continue to insult us. Even up to today, they are still calling us names, Honorable Speaker. So we have told them that because we are also politicians, we can throw down. You know, these suits, Honorable Speaker, they are just clothes. We can remove them and just wear magwanda rasmi ya vita. Nobody should think that because Sifuna wears a suit every day, that in certain circumstances, if need be, I cannot throw around. I mean, they should not threaten us. So, what we were objecting to yesterday, and I want the country to understand this, you have a governor who you have given resources. The Constitution requires him to come and account for those resources. You have invited him once. You have invited him twice. You have invited him 3 times. You have issued summons to him. You have actually sent the police to look for him. He has refused to appear before the County Public Accounts Committee and before the Senate. Then he comes to the Senate to create content for his TikTok out here. And yet there is a live court, a live matter before the committee and a live arrest warrant. As a lawyer, I am telling you, as a lawyer, Mr. Speaker, I know you are my classmate. You know that it is the responsibility of everyone. If you know there is a thief who the chief is looking for, even in the village there, chief has put a notice saying, if you see this gentleman, you tell him we are looking for him. And then he comes and prances around here with a battery of journalists at making content for his Facebook page. I mean, you expect us to sit here and just also, I'ma send him some likes. It is not possible. It is not possible. So Governor Lelelit, you know where to find me. I am a member still of the Public Accounts Committee. And the questions that I have for you, you must answer. You must answer. You can't threaten me with anything. Yeah? I am doing my job like constitutionally, the job that I was given to do under the Constitution, and you cannot threaten anyone. I am available. I am available. We are going to do a schedule, Honorable Speaker, as we told this House, for the meetings of a Public Accounts Committee in accordance with this motion that has required us, Honorable Speaker, to enforce fiduciary accountability by resummoning non-compliant county governors, recommending sanctions for defiance, including budget withholding, which we are already doing, and escalating unresolved cases to the Control of Budget, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission or Director of Public Prosecutions as appropriate. We are prepared to do that job whether you jump up, whether you run away.
If you're in need of electrical wiring, solar installation, or electrical fittings such as strip lights, snake lights, downlighters, or chandeliers, contact Engineer Wycliffe at 0707 476602 and he'll get your house dapped up.
Right now, I'm with my team headed to a client's house in Ruiru for consultation. That is to take measurements of the windows, go through our catalog with the client, and then once they decide on the color and the fabric they want, we'll get busy sewing, and at long last, the curtains installation will be on us. So if you're looking for curtains, shears, curtain rods, curtain accessories, reach out to Phoenix Curtains and Interior Decor and we will sort you out. Call us on 0724 414153.
Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.